Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point. And we are here, one with some devastating news regarding Aniah Blanchard. You guys remember she is the young woman who was missing from Alabama, but they had someone in custody and charged him with kidnapping. And I had another story that I was going to bring to you guys, but I got so distracted and backed up over the weekend. But today, authorities have found human remains that they believe that they're pretty confident are Aniah Blanchard's. It says that the month-long search for 19-year-old Aniah Blanchard has ended in tragedy as her probable remains are discovered Monday afternoon in Macon County. And then they said that they can confirm that human remains have been found and that they have good reason to suspect that they are Aniah Blanchard's. And the remains were found off Macon County Road number 2. It was not far from the New Hope Baptist Church. And Aniah's family has been notified. And so the story that I was going to bring you guys the other day was that they actually arrested a second suspect, and he was arrested on Friday. It says members of the Auburn, Alabama Police Department and the U.S. Marshals Task Force arrested Antwan Shamar Fisher, 35, of Montgomery, and charged him with first-degree kidnapping. Fisher, who also goes by the nickname Squirmy, is being held in the Lee County Jail. Fisher's arrest comes just after prosecutors ordered the first suspect in the kidnapping, Ibraheem Yazeed, to submit a DNA sample on Wednesday. Authorities in Lee County aren't able to answer further questions about Fisher and the case because of a gag order put into effect earlier in the month. Now, won't it be something if it turns out that this Antwan Fisher guy is actually that witness that they came up with that told them that he saw Aniah being forced into a car. But yeah, devastating news that they believe that they found Aniah Blanchard's remains. So prayers to the family. I know this is going to be a very difficult time for them, but you know, I'm sure they held out hope that she would be found alive. Unfortunately, it turned out this way, but at least they have an answer and they can begin the process of bringing closure to what happened to their daughter. No more wondering, and I don't know, it's just, you always hope for the best, but in this case, that didn't happen, but at least they have recovered the body, and so they can move forward with the grieving process, unlike some families where the body is never found. And so I see stories all the time where it's been 20, 30 years and people are still wanting the police to investigate because they just want closure. So if this is indeed Aniah Blanchard, prayers to her family, and may she rest in peace, and may whoever is involved, Ibraheem, Antwan Fisher, and anybody else, that they receive the justice that they deserve. And then in our second case that we've been following, Taylor Williams, remember she's the little girl that they believe they found her body in a wooded area in Alabama. And so some more information has come out about that. And it appears that the way they found her body was that they went back and checked the phone records for her mother, Briana Williams, who's being held on $1 million bond because she's suspected of actually killing her daughter. And so they were able to, do cellular searches and check pings, and her phone pinged off this area and where they found the body at. And so in this story, it says after a child's remains were found Tuesday in a wooded area in Alabama. A man who leases property nearby said investigators have told him have had to know Nearby said investigators would have had to know exactly where they were looking to find anything out there. Teams from Jacksonville traveled to rural Alabama this week in the search for missing 5-year-old Taylor Rose Williams. And you guys know that they actually did find her. Well, they found the remains. Taylor's mother, Briana Williams, who reported her missing from their Jacksonville home, was charged in well, they haven't charged her with the murder because they have to positively identify the remains, but they did charge her for like filing a false police report or giving false information to police, and as well as child neglect because a neighbor came forward and said that she had been leaving the 5-year-old home alone. And so she attempted suicide. She has been released from the hospital and she is now in custody. And so Terry Randall, who leases the land next door to where the body that police believe is Taylor Williams was found, said that he saw crews searching on his land on Sunday and walked around with them as they looked for Taylor. And he says, some kind of agent told me they were looking for a body, and that's how I found out about it. According to Randall, the remains were found about a half a mile away from his property on Landfill Road. He said the area is very remote and wooded. He also said that someone would have to know where they were searching in order to find something out there. And Randall said he hadn't heard Taylor's name before or knew anything about the story before he spotted the investigators searching for her. Now he says that he'll think about her every time he passes the property. And he went on to say, I won't ever forget that name. I'll always think about her when I go by because, that's just like a weird situation, to be in. And so Sheriff Williams told reporters last week that Briana Williams stopped cooperating. And then it was also previously reported that a cadaver dog alerted on the trunk of the mother's car, a black 2017 Honda Accord, which was towed from her home in Jacksonville. And so, of course, they're doing DNA analysis of that. And then the sheriff who's helping investigate said that a tip led them to deploy dozens of members of the Jacksonville Fire Rescue Urban Search and Rescue Team to Alabama, near towns where Briana Williams grew up and still has friends. But it was actually family members that reported to the media that Briana Williams' phone pinged in the area. And so the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office asked anyone who saw Taylor and her mother together between Jacksonville and Alabama in the last 2 weeks to call the Sheriff's Office with that information. And the sheriff said that Briana Williams was believed to have been driving her Honda Accord, which has tinted windows and black rims. So if anybody, saw anyone fitting her description or that car, they want them to come forward because they still don't have a time frame for when Taylor, well, they have a time frame because she was last seen by the neighbor in May sometime, like in the middle of May. So I think he's the last person that's actually seen Taylor Williams. The police also confirmed that Briana's family and Taylor's biological father are cooperating with their investigation. FBI Jacksonville Special Agent in Charge, Rachel Rojos, said they are offering any and all assistance, both locally and in Alabama. We've called upon several of our skilled teams, including the FBI Child Abduction Response Team, the Cellular Analysis Survey Team, the Evidence Response Team, and many others with legal and technical expertise, Rojo said. There is a lot of love for Taylor here, even those who have never met her. Two senior public defenders specializing in homicide cases have been assigned to represent the Navy mother charged in her daughter's disappearance. And we're told that the case against Briana Williams, who is a person of interest in her daughter Taylor's disappearance, is being handled just like any other felony case. And, and that's because she is a member of the military, and, she serves in the Navy. And so they're letting us know that she's not going to get any special treatment. They're going to treat her like anybody else that they believe done committed a crime, and especially a heinous crime of killing your own child. And so the public defender's office has assigned her case to its two top attorneys known for defending homicide and felony cases. Briana Williams' classmate, who asked to remain anonymous, said, "This is something she never could have imagined, that Briana's not the same person she was in high school." And she recounted what Williams was like in high school, saying that she's always been quiet and been to herself. Like, really, to know Briana is to love Briana. And so the classmate, basically went on and said that at first she was like, there's no way in the world that all of this, that she could do this kind of stuff. But then as the story went to progressing, certain stuff didn't make sense. Half of the story didn't make sense. As the investigation moves forward, she says many neighbors are still in shock and waiting to see how this all ends. Stuff like this right here, you just never thought that you'd even hear about this going on, let alone knowing that it was your room or classmate, somebody that you grew up with, that did this. And so that's where they are with the Taylor Williams case. And both this case and Aniah Blanchard, had very devastating endings, and just hopefully that the people who are responsible for their deaths are held accountable. So that's it for me. Sorry for bringing this information to you guys late. But I did just find out about Aniah Blanchard's remains being found. And so leave your comments below, share the video, and I guess at this point, I'll let you guys know any hearings. I know Briana Williams, her next hearing is December 4th. So we'll hear something about that. And then whenever this Antwan Fisher goes before his arraignment, I'll come back and let you guys know what he had to say. So until the next time, I shall talk to you all later. Bye-bye.